This is the last of 3 tutorials on Livewire's policies, benefits, and expectations. In this tutorial, you'll learn about Livewire's expectations for its employees. What are Livewire's expectations for employees? In Course 2, The Livewire Way, you learned that Livewire expects every employee to adhere to the highest standard of job performance and of personal conduct, including individual involvement with company personnel and outside business contacts. Livewire reserves the right to discipline or discharge any employee for violating any company policy, practice, or rule of conduct. Livewire expects the highest standard of ethical conduct and fair dealing from each employee, manager, director, volunteer, and all others associated with the company. Our reputation is a valuable asset, and we must continually earn the trust, confidence, and respect of our suppliers, our members, our customers, and our community. This policy provides general guidance on ethical principles that we all must follow, but no guideline can anticipate all situations. You should be guided by basic honesty and good judgment, and be sensitive to others' perceptions and interpretations. First, you're charged with the responsibility of understanding and following all applicable laws and regulations, recognize potential dangers, and know when to seek legal advice. Second, you may not give or receive money or any gift from a supplier, government official, or other organization. Exceptions may be made for gifts that are customary and lawful, are of nominal value, and are authorized in advance. You may accept meals and refreshments if they are infrequent, are of nominal value, and are in connection with the business discussions. If you do receive a gift or other benefit of more than nominal value, report it promptly to a member of the management. It will be returned or donated to a suitable charity. Third, Livewire collects only personal information about employees that relates to their employment. Only people with business-related need to know are given access to this information, and the president must authorize any release of the information to others. If you have access to any confidential information, including private information, you are responsible for acting with integrity. Unauthorized disclosure or inappropriate use of confidential information will not be tolerated. Fourth, Livewire's financial statements and all books and records on which they are based must accurately reflect the company's transactions. All disbursements and receipts must be properly authorized and recorded. You must record and report financial information accurately. Reimbursable business expenses must be reasonable, accurately reported, and supported by receipts. Fifth, do not distribute account, client, or customer information to anyone other than the named account holder, client, or customer. Sixth, Livewire has a zero-tolerance policy for workplace violence. This includes threats, intimidation, and violence of any kind either committed by or directed to our employees. Employees who engage in such conduct will be disciplined up to and including immediate termination of employment. Employees are not permitted to bring weapons of any kind onto company premises or to company functions. Any employee who is suspected of possessing a weapon will be subject to a search at the company's discretion. Such searches may include, but not be limited to, the employee's personal effects, desk, and workspace. If you feel you have been subjected to threats or threatening conduct by a coworker, vendor, or customer, you should notify his or her supervisor or another member of management immediately. You will not be penalized for reporting such concerns. Seventh, Livewire strives to maintain an environment free from discrimination and harassment, where employees treat each other with respect, dignity, and courtesy. Livewire does not and will not tolerate any type of harassment of our employees, applicants for employment, or our customers. The term harassment includes, but is not limited to, slurs, jokes, and other verbal or physical conduct relating to a person's gender, ethnicity, race, color, creed, religion, sexual orientation, national origin, age, disability, marital status, or any other protected classification that unreasonably interferes with a person's work performance or creates an intimidating, hostile work environment. Sexually harassing behavior in particular includes unwelcome conduct such as sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, offensive touching, or other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. If you need to report harassment by a fellow employee or non-employee such as a customer, client, or supplier, report the matter to a manager or supervisor. If that person is unavailable or you believe it would be inappropriate to contact that person, you may contact the Livewire president. Livewire will conduct a prompt investigation as confidentially as possible under the circumstances. Employees who raise concerns and make reports in good faith can do so without fear of reprisal. At the same time, employees have an obligation to cooperate with Livewire in enforcing this policy and investigating and remedying complaints. If you become aware of possible sexual harassment or other illegal discrimination against others, You should promptly inform their immediate supervisor or any other appropriate member of Livewire management. Anyone found to have engaged in such wrongful behavior will be subject to appropriate discipline, which may include termination. Any employee who files a complaint of sexual harassment or other discrimination in good faith will not be adversely affected in terms and conditions of employment and will not be retaliated against or discharged because of the complaint. In addition, Livewire will not tolerate retaliation against any employees who, in good faith, cooperate in the investigation of a complaint. Anyone who engages in such retaliatory behavior will be subject to appropriate discipline, including termination. 8. Livewire has expectations for its employees when it comes to the use of drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. Livewire strives to maintain a workplace free of drugs and alcohol and to discourage drug and alcohol abuse by its employees. Misuse of alcohol or drugs by employees can impair the ability of employees to perform their duties, as well as adversely affect our customers and our customers' confidence in our company. Employees are prohibited from using or being under the influence of alcohol while performing company business for Livewire or while operating a motor vehicle in the course of business. Livewire employees are also prohibited from using or being under the influence of illegal drugs while performing company business or while on a company facility or work site. You may not use, manufacture, distribute, purchase, transfer, or possess an illegal drug while in Livewire's facilities, while operating a motor vehicle for any job-related purpose, or while on the job, or while performing company business. This policy does not prohibit the proper use of medication under the direction of a physician. However, misuse of such medications is prohibited. Tobacco use is 100% prohibited at Livewire, including, but not limited to, vehicles, outdoors, job sites, etc. Do not use tobacco on company time. All employees are expected to adhere to these policies. Anyone who fails to do so may be disciplined or terminated, even for a first offense. Livewire may conduct searches for illegal drugs or alcohol on company facilities or work sites without prior notice to employees. Such searches may be conducted at any time. Employees are expected to cooperate fully. Searches of employees and their personal property may be conducted when there is reasonable suspicion to believe that the employee has violated this policy, or when circumstances or workplace conditions justify such a search. Personal property may include, but is not limited to, purses, boxes, briefcases, as well as any Livewire property that is provided for employees' personal use, such as desks, lockers, and files. An employee's consent to a search is required as a condition of employment, and the employee's refusal to consent may result in disciplinary action, including termination. Livewire may require a blood test, urinalysis, hair test, or other drug or alcohol screening of employees suspected of using or being under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or where other circumstances or workplace conditions justify such testing. The refusal to consent to testing may result in disciplinary action, including termination. Finally, company property. When you are using company-provided vehicles, tools, machines, and equipment, including computer equipment or hardware, it is your responsibility to protect them from loss, damage, or theft, and to follow all operating instructions, safety standards, and guidelines. Please keep your work area neat and clean and use normal care in handling company property. Report any broken or damaged equipment to your supervisor at once so that proper repairs can be made. Livewire also regulates employees' use of its computer software. You may not duplicate any licensed software or related documentation for use, either on company premises or elsewhere, unless expressly authorized to do so by written agreement with the licensor. And you may not provide licensed software to anyone outside of the company. Employees should be aware that the illegal duplication of software may result in filing criminal copyright charges by the owners of the copyrights and can subject both the employee and the company to liability. All software that Livewire acquires must be purchased by operations. Upon delivery, all software must be registered properly by Service and installed by Service. You may not load personal software on Livewire computers. Because Livewire reserves the right to access any personal communications without prior notice, you should not use company systems to transmit any messages or to access any information you would not want a third party to see. Employees are at all times prohibited from accessing or downloading information from the Internet for personal use. The telephone system, including voicemail, at Livewire is property of the company and is provided for business use. Livewire may periodically monitor the usage of the telephone systems to ensure compliance with this policy. Therefore, employees should not consider their conversations on the company's telephone system to be private. All mail delivered to the company is presumed to be related to company business. Mail sent to you at the company will be opened by the office and routed to your department. If you do not wish to have your correspondence handled in this manner, please have it delivered to your home. Employees who fail to comply with this ethical conduct policy will be disciplined, which may include a demand for reimbursement of any losses or damages, termination of employment, and referral for criminal prosecution. Actions will also be taken against any supervisors or others who fail to report a violation or withhold relevant information concerning a violation of this policy. You are expected to promptly disclose to Livewire management anything that may violate this policy. We will not tolerate retaliation or retribution against anyone who brings violations to management's attention. Another expectation of Livewire is that you attend work regularly and report to work on time. This means that you are actively working at your start time. If you know you want to get coffee and chit-chat, get here before your scheduled time. Early is on time. If you're unable to report to work on time for any reason, call your supervisor as far in advance as possible. If you do not call in an absence in advance, it will be considered unexcused. Livewire also expects the quality and quantity of your work to be satisfactory or better. You must also follow instructions, procedures, and safety regulations. Unsatisfactory attendance, including reporting late, leaving early, as well as violating any of these expectations, may be cause for disciplinary action, up to and including termination. Livewire's dress policy. Appropriate office attire is required. Suppliers and customers visit our office, and we like to put forth an image that will make us all proud to be Livewire employees. Be guided by common sense and good taste. Livewire logo apparel should be worn at all times while working, and the outermost layer of clothing should always be a Livewire layer. Here is a list of uniforms provided. Sales employees may also wear dress clothes as long as they meet the criteria listed in the orange box. Livewire splits the cost of the uniform program with the employees. It will cost employees $1 per day, that's $5 a week. Pricing is subject to change at any time without prior notice. UniFirst will initially deliver each employee 11 sets of uniforms. Every Monday, they will pick up your 5 dirty sets and replace them with 5 more. This means that you return your dirty clothes each Monday for cleaning. They give you 11 sets so that you will have the 1 on your person, 5 cleans at home, and 5 dirties at the cleaners. Uniforms will be returned laundered and pressed and hung in your locker. You must wear the provided uniform pants or shorts, no substitutions. This includes jeans. You must be wearing a polo shirt when facing a client. T-shirts are only allowed when doing rough-ins and trim-outs. This means that polos must be worn at all other times. UniFirst will cover normal wear done to clothing. This includes a broken button, belt loop or zipper, holes at the seams, and worn elbows and knee areas. This does not include torn or damaged clothing as a result of a piece of equipment or other action. Any damage that is not covered by UniFirst will be replaced at the employee's expense. This cost will be deducted from your paycheck unless other arrangements are made with the approval from your supervisor. Any employee that is terminated or chooses to leave Livewire at their own will is required to turn in all of their allotted uniform apparel on their last day. Your final paycheck will be held until all uniform items have been returned and are cleared of damage. Each employee is issued a uniform locker. You are required to keep your locker maintained and in order. Your manager may choose to examine or search the contents of your locker at their discretion. Any damage incurred to your assigned locker will be fined to the employee. Hygiene and personal grooming. Livewire employees are expected to meet hygiene and personal grooming requirements during regular business hours for the duration of their employment. This means that you bathe daily, brush your teeth, use deodorant, you don't wear heavily scented perfumes, colognes, or lotions, you keep your fingernails trimmed, and you always wash your hands after using the restroom. To meet the personal grooming requirements, your clothes must be clean, pressed, in good condition, and fit appropriately. Socks or hose must be worn with shoes. You must have neat and well-groomed hair, sideburns, mustaches, and beards with no artificial colors that would be deemed unprofessional. If you wear makeup, you should wear a moderate amount. Clothing must not interfere with the safe operation of equipment, and no dark glasses unless prescribed by a physician. Wear limited jewelry and no dangling or large hoop jewelry that may create a safety hazard to yourself or others. Body piercing must be limited to 3 per ear. Other visible body piercing is unacceptable unless demanded by your religion or culture. Tattoos that are perceived as offensive, hostile, or that diminish the effectiveness of the employee's professionalism must be covered and not visible to staff, customers, or visitors. We've covered a lot in these 3 tutorials about Livewire's policies, benefits, and expectations. Livewire is thrilled to have you on board and knows that you will do your part to uphold the Livewire way. Livewire's success is driven by your success. As you strive to uphold the company's mission, core values, customer service expectations, ongoing learning opportunities, and conduct standards, you and Livewire will continue to grow and succeed.